Well, as you can see, it's time for the CCA workbench rigs and techniques here, Dave. You know, one of the things that we always, when we're talking about sailfish, we always seem to cover the same stuff. So I thought we'd change it up a little bit this year.
And this is something I've always wanted to talk about as well.
Because it's certainly important.
Correct.
So
and
go ahead.
Spinning line management.
Right.
You know, putting your spinning line on your spinning reels. And first off, the very first thing you should say, it doesn't matter, you know, we've got great technology now that's way better than it was 10 years, 5 years ago. So it does take away a lot of the spin, but spinning reels are gonna spin up just because of the way they're designed. When that rotor is going around a spool, you're gonna have problems. And it
creates twist.
Correct, and there's no way to get around it. So, you know, one thing you can really do is don't wind against the drag. When drag is coming out of your spinning reel and you hear that zz, zz, you do not wind because you're definitely going to spin up the line. That's the one thing that you can do, the first thing that you can do to keep your line from getting spun up. Next is when you're spooling your reels. This is a problem that we have a lot of.
Here or here? Which one?
Both of them, first? Actually. You can do this one first.
All right, so let's go with this one first. So what's the problem here, Dave?
Well, you've noticed that all the line is piled up at the top of the spool. And it makes a little cone. And whenever you do that, after about the 5th or 6th cast, you're going to get it's going to be
a 3-line tangle.
Correct, with a big loop and the line wrapped around it. And then this one, the same kind of deal, except all the line is piled at the bottom.
Yeah, so you can see here, guys, that it's heavier, it's more spooled here instead of
and it's very subtle. Sometimes it's not a big cone; it can be just very subtle. But when it's doing that, usually it's on the less expensive reels, you know. And what they'll do is they'll put these little washers in the box,
right?
And they'll say, "Hey," and they even have a little pamphlet in there that says, "If your line is piled up towards the top, then you need to add."
One of these washers
correct
to the spindle,
so all your line will be even. Right. And if it's all piled up at the bottom, then you take the little washer that's in there and you put the thicker one in that they send you. And and then when you spool up your line, hopefully it'll be nice and even.
Right.
So that's a huge thing, right?
So what else you got over there? I see you got another one. Well, guess what? I'm gonna let you get to work. Hold those for me.
This is another problem is when your line, you don't put enough line on there.
Yes.
So you want to fill this spool up to like you're 1/8 of an inch away from the lip of the spool. Now this won't cause you to get a lot of loops in your line, but what it does do is it bottoms out your casting by a lot.
And as you can see here in the pin, they actually have lines that tell you the level to fill. So if you got one little line showing here, then what ends up happening is that you're only half full. This would be 3/4, and then out to the rim would be full.
Right.
So pin helps us have a better understanding.
Right.
Now, Dave, I am a real stickler about, that's a full spool.
That's one that's done right.
That's a full spool, and it's done correctly. As you can see, it's even all the way across the reel itself.
And it's filled all the way up to about 1/8 of an inch away from the tip. From the lip, and that'll make you cast longer, and you won't. You know, every time that we start to spool up a rod or a reel, at least me, I like to fill that thing way too full. And when I do, I end up having to cut off half of it after my first 4 or 5 casts because I end up throwing it all in the water.
And the wind doesn't help because what happens a lot of times with the wind, we're going to show you how to do this. So first thing we're going to do, guys, is I tied a 1/2 hitch into a line, double in my line. And I just take the loop and I go over the spool. Now, most of these reels, as you can see, it has a etched part that you want to put the line on, or in this particular case, we're going to lay the line against the rubber. Now, here's what's really important. As you're winding this, see, if you look here, look at how the line itself has a bunch of curls. Now, I'm looking for those curls to stay loose as I wind on the line. If they start to get really, really tight and narrow, then what's happening is I'm winding against the memory of the spool of line. Dave, just for 1 second, turn it 180 degrees the opposite way. Now watch what happens. Watch how quickly this gets real tight. Look at how the curls, see how the curls going through my spool? See how tight they are?
It's already starting
to
spin up.
And now it's starting to spin up. So all you do is reverse the spool. Most of the time the label is going to be right. Make sure that you don't get wrapped around the tip. You can also pull it here. See how it's starting to twist? That tells me that I need to reverse the spool, and that's how you wind it. Now the rest is history. We're just going to keep winding. We'll check it again. Look, it's not spinning up. You can check it 3 or 4 times, and once you get the label established in the right direction, you're just going to be okay. And this applies to braid and mono. It works the same way. All right, man, that was a good segment.
Yes, it was.
I really liked that.
You liked it if you do say so yourself.
If
huh,
I do
right?
say so myself.
I mean, that was some good stuff that some people don't think
It
about
save
that.
a lot of people a lot of time.
It does. It seems basic, but it's actually gotta know what you're doing over there.